Welcome to this New Year reflection. We're going to take a little bit of time to reflect back on the year that's been and reflect also and think about the coming year as well. I'd invite you to put a bit of time aside for this. I tend to actually take half a day or a full day of leave each year to do this, but even if you have 20 minutes or half an hour, I really believe you'll find it worthwhile. So I would encourage you to pause this video and find a comfortable place to sit. Make sure you've got a pen and a notebook, maybe make yourself a cup of tea or coffee and settle down and put your phone on silent. And when you're ready to start, you can start the video again. So welcome back. I hope you're sitting comfortably. I would encourage you to just be aware of your body as you sit down. Make sure that you're sitting in a way that feels comfortable to sit for a while. Just feel whether there's any tension in your body. Maybe give your shoulders a gentle rub and settle down. So as we think about the year past, I have 3 words for you to reflect on, and I'll lead you through one by one. The 3 words are gratitude, challenges, and growth. So let me share my screen and share the presentation with you. So as we think about gratitude first, I find it pretty interesting that we have a lot of kind of intuitive knowledge that gratitude is good for us, but maybe in fact just see whether that's working. I hope that's working. We have a lot of intuitive knowledge that gratitude is useful and good for us. But I found some interesting studies recently, which actually gave scientific evidence of that. And I thought I'd give you a little insight into that. In a Harvard Medical School journal article, they were summarizing the studies that showed the benefits of gratitude. And they said it included mental and physical health, reduced envy and resentment, improved ability to deal with adversity, better sleep, and building stronger relationships. Dr. Robert Emmons of the University of California, Davis, and Dr. Michael McLeod of the University of Miami have done much of the studies that we know about on gratitude. And in one study that I found quite interesting, they asked people to write a few sentences each week. The first group were instructed to write about things that they were grateful for that happened that week. The second group were instructed to write about daily irritations, just stuff that had upset them. And then the third group were instructed to just write general things that affected them. And after 10 weeks, those who wrote about gratitude were found to be more optimistic, felt better about their lives, but also, interestingly, exercised more and had fewer visits to the doctor. Pretty interesting, right? So I'd encourage you to have a think about what you're grateful for as you go through this year. What happened in the different months of the year? What happened that was that you can be grateful for? What were some of the little things that you saw that were beautiful? What were some of the conversations that were helpful? And what was some of the work that you did that was fulfilling? And what were some of the places that you went to that you appreciated? And I would encourage you also to write a list of the people you're grateful for, and maybe take a bit of time after this exercise to write some letters or messages to tell those people why you're grateful for them. So pause the video now and write something about what you're grateful for this year. So welcome back. The next question for looking back at the last year was what was hard or challenging? For each thing that was hard or challenging, I want you to write down, how did that make you feel? Try hard to articulate your feelings in as much detail as possible. Was it disappointing? Did it make you frustrated or angry? Did it make you sad? So what are some of the words that you would put to those emotions? And again, I found some really interesting studies about the benefits of this that have been proved scientifically. So recognizing and naming our emotions decreases their intensity and is good for our well-being. Emotions are signals to tell us something, and if we ignore them, they impact on our nervous and hormonal system. And either that's a pressure cooker that builds up and explodes in inappropriate moments, or it just stays inside and can lead to depression. So from Dr. Matthew Lieberman from the University of California, LA, he discovered that those who in his studies put their feelings into words, it made actually their experience of sadness and anger less intense. When we experience fear and anger, the part of our brain called the amygdala shows increased activity. And by naming these feelings and emotions, that activity moves from the amygdala to the frontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that regulates rational behavior and helps us make better decisions. So it's really important to acknowledge our emotions and be good listeners for others without trying to fix it, and allow ourselves and others the natural pressure cooker valve release of tears and of sharing. So maybe spend a bit of time now thinking about what was hard or challenging this year, and for each situation, writing down how you felt. Maybe you also want to think about, was there any comfort or resolution that came in that situation? Was there someone that was there for you? Did you read a book or hear a song that helped you in that situation? Maybe that's also a useful reflection. So pause the video now and have a think right about that. The next question is maybe the hardest of the three, and that is, how did I grow, or what did I learn? And it might be something like, I learned that I was able to share how I was feeling with my family members, and even though it was hard, it deepened the relationship. Or maybe you were learning about growing in patience. What did you learn, or how did you grow this year? This is kind of talking about inner character growth rather than growing in skills. So maybe take a bit of time to think about, how did I grow, or what did I learn this year? So welcome back. This is an opportunity now to just read back through what you've written: gratitude, challenges, and growth. And you may want to take a new piece of paper, a plain A4 sheet of paper, and do a spider diagram with those 3 words on it, and just summarize some of the themes that you've been thinking about today. What are some of the themes of what you're grateful for? What was challenging, how you felt, and how did you grow? So looking forward now to the new year, the first question is, what do you hope for? And the 3 words that we're looking at looking forward are hopes, concerns, and invitation. So the first question is hope. Hope. So you may want to divide your page into different areas. It might be family life, friends, work, physical health, mental health, spiritual well-being, emotional well-being, hobbies, home, different areas of your life that you can write down. What do you hope for in some of those areas? It might be something really practical, like, I hope that we actually get our kitchen renovation done this year. Or it might be something like, I hope to invest in my relationship with my cousin this year. So those are sort of some of the things that you want to hope for in this year. So maybe pause the video and spend a bit of time thinking about that. So welcome back. And the second question, looking forward into the next year, is, what are your concerns about the year to come? It may be things in different areas of your life that you are nervous about, feeling a bit anxious or fearful about, or that are unclear to you and that you feel you need clarity or resolution on. So there may be, for each one of those, something that you may feel that you want to do, maybe to talk to someone about it, or maybe that you need to release some things and trust. And it may be that they are just what they are and you need to just acknowledge them. So spend a bit of time, maybe pausing the video now and writing down what are some of your concerns as you step into this new year. And then now we'll move on to the last question for moving into the new year. And that is, what is the invitation? And this is a sense of a word or phrase that might be an invitation for inner growth for you this year. So an example for me was that in the past year, one of my words that I was looking at was integration, and another word was connection. I live in 2 countries and I do 2 quite different areas of work. And I wanted to have a sense of integration in my life and not things divided between my lives in 2 countries. So those words for me were very significant kind of guiding lights for me through the year in terms of integration and connection. So maybe for you, it might be something like joy, regaining joy. It may be something of learning to handle conflict healthily. It may be around growing a certain aspect of your character. So what do you feel the invitation is for you this year? Particularly maybe hoping that there's a phrase or a few simple words that you can hold on to for this year. So maybe pause the video now and have a think about that and write some things down. And then as we conclude, you may want to reread what you've written in terms of hopes, concerns, and invitation. Again, you could do a summary sheet, which is looking towards the new year, and have those 3 words and just summarize some of your thoughts for each of them. It'll be interesting at the end of the year to see what you were thinking about at the start of the year. So you may want to pause the video now and do a bit of a summary. So as we come to the end of our little reflection, I just want to say I hope it's been helpful for you, and I'd really encourage you to even take a bit of time, maybe once a month or at different periods in the year, to just take a bit of time on your own to reflect. I do really feel that as we're more intentional about reflecting, we can have a more intentional sense of growth and movement forward in our lives, which I found really, really helpful in my own life. And also just to say, in my work, I do 2 separate things. One is advising companies on improving human rights in their supply chain. My other work in parallel is to run these kind of reflection spaces, both online and in person, with NGOs and charities, particularly helping groups of people to reflect and connect as a group, and give space to process what they're going through as an organization and as individuals. So if you know of an organization where you think that might be helpful, do feel free to contact me. And I hope this has been useful, and Happy New Year to you.